Are you thinking about buying a home, but you're really unsure of the costs associated with it? If so, you're in the right place because today I'm going to cover the basic costs that are associated with purchasing a home. Perhaps you've purchased a home before and you already know what these are. If so, scroll on to all my other videos. But if you're a new home buyer or you just haven't done this rodeo for a while, stay for the duration of the video to find out the costs that are associated with purchasing a home. So you have your down payment and you have your closing costs, which are paid the day of closing, but you also have pre-closing costs, which is your earnest money, your appraisal, and your home inspection. Let's start with down payment, which is dependent on loan type, which can vary greatly, but also it depends on what your contract and closing price is on the actual property itself. I also made a short video on down payment and loan options, which I've linked in the description below. That video will give you an idea of what to look for and what to ask your lender about. So check that out if you want to learn more. And if you're on the hunt for a trusted lender, I have added my preferred lender in the description below as well. Next, we have closing costs. What are the costs associated with these? Well, that depends on what is negotiated prior to binding your contract. I'll talk more about that later, but for now, let's stick with the pre-closing costs, which is money that you're going to have to plan on paying up front during the contract period. Now, each buyer, house, and contract are different, so it's impossible to give you a breakdown of the exact layout, but these are the basic guidelines of what to expect when you are expecting to buy. First, we have EM or earnest money, and you have a certain time frame in which you have to pay this amount. And that is negotiated upfront before the contract is binding. With earnest money, 1% of the offer price is pretty typical, but don't worry, don't stress out because this comes back to you as a credit at the closing table. Next, we have appraisal. There are some rare circumstances when the appraisal will actually be waived. It doesn't happen often, but when this does happen, it's usually because the buyer is putting so much money down that the lender isn't worried about their risk on lending on that property. Most likely, if you're going through the lending process, you're going to have to front for an appraisal, and that can run you anywhere from around $400 to $750. And if you're purchasing in a very rural area, then the cost of your appraisal might be even more expensive because appraisers might be harder to come by. So again, you can expect to pay the appraisal up front, and that's pulled directly from your bank account with your authorization by your lender. And don't worry about the appraiser and the lender being in cahoots, because when an appraiser gets the job, it's strictly by chance. Basically, the lender just throws it out there in the atmosphere through a third party, and then random appraisers pick up the job, which in actuality protects the buyer and the lender from biased assessments. Home inspection. This is not mandatory, but it is definitely recommended, and this can run you anywhere from $300 all the way on up, maybe even to $900, $950. It honestly depends on the size of the house, what is involved in the home inspection, what kind of house is it? Is it an easy inspection? Is it a difficult inspection? That's going to be up to the inspector, and they're going to be able to quote you, but generally you're going to spend anywhere, mostly I would say on a basic I would say on a basic 2,000 to 3,000 square foot house, you're going to spend around $400, maybe even $350. Anything more complicated than that is obviously going to be more expensive. When it comes to a home inspector, this is going to be somebody that you choose personally. You may have somebody in mind, and if you don't know any home inspectors and you don't even know where to start, then that's what your realtor's for. Go to your referral. Go to your realtor because they're a great resource for referrals such as this. The things that home inspectors look for are plumbing, windows, doors, HVAC systems, attic, smoke alarms, basements, foundations, gutters, downspouts, appliances, ceilings, floors, structures, possible water damage, decks, railings, grading, drainage. If there's anything that's cause for concern for your inspector, they're going to recommend that you get a specialist out there. And again, if this happens, your realtor should be a great resource for any specialized inspections that you may need. Now, once the inspector's done, you will receive an inspection report. It might take them 24 to 48 hours to get it to you. Hopefully not. A great inspector will get it to you within a 24-hour time period. And sometimes the inspectors I've used in the past, they'll get it to you that night. And these reports can be anywhere from 20 pages to over 100 pages long. It depends on the type of inspection that you agree to with your chosen inspector. Again, these are just basics of what to expect when you're going through the process. Each scenario, contract, buyer, and home are uniquely different, so your real estate representative should be guiding you through each step of your journey from start to finish. Now, let's circle back around to closing costs. What's included? Well, in Georgia, aside from your down payment, the rest of your closing costs will include your appraisal fees, which have already been paid up front, your HOA fees, your title fees, recording fees, prorated taxes, insurance premium, and your lender fees. Now, these fees depend on multiple factors, but you can anticipate approximately 3% of your purchase price for average of the cost of your closing fees. Does that make sense? So if you're buying a house for $100,000 and you're responsible for paying all your closing fees because they weren't negotiated in, then you can anticipate around $3,000 total for your closing fees on top of your down payment. I wish we lived in a world where we could buy $100,000 houses, but sadly that is no more. That's just an easy example. Easy numbers. However, if your agent does negotiate your closing costs, then you may not be on the hook for any of it, or you might be on the hook for some of it. It all depends on your contract and what y'all agree upon. So remember, go through the process one step at a time and always ask questions. Now take a moment to like this video and hit subscribe, and then head on over to my page and thumb through some of my videos and stay informed of the home buying and selling process. Thanks for watching.